today our problem statement is that we have to check a given number is perfect square or not. So if you check these two example, 25, if I make a square root of 25, I can get a concrete number 5. So I can say this 25 is a perfect square. But if you go for this 26, then the square root of it is equal to 5.099. So I can't say this is a concrete number, and that's mean I also can't say that 26 is a perfect square. So I have to say that 26 is a not perfect square, but 25 is a perfect square. Now to do that, we can use the square root sqrt method under math functions. Now here you can see that for that we basically use this type of method by passing the value as a double, okay, and the return type is also double, right? So let's check that in Eclipse how we can implement that one. So I have already opened my Eclipse and I have also created a perfect square example under com.demo.predefined package. Now if I double click here, so you can see that I have already created a num variable that is basically a double type, and using the scanner class instance I am trying to collect the number that is entered by user to check it's a perfect square or not. Then our next aim is that we have to check this is perfect square or not. So how we can check that? So the logic is that we will create two different variable, one is integer type, one is double type, and we will use math.square root functions for this number, and we will try to collect that one once under that double variable, another one under integer variable. So let's first do that, then we will check how it will work. So I am creating a double type variable sq, that is basically sqrt square root of double, dbl represent double. Then I am going to create another variable of integer type, that is sqrt int. So I have two variable, one is double and one is integer. Now whatever the value entered by user, that will be collected under this num variable, and this is a double type. Right now I will try to call the square root functions two times, and first time I will try to collect that one under a double variable, and second time I will try to collect that one under the integer type variable. So let's do that. Now if I write like this, equal to math class then square root, and I am trying to passing the num variable where actually I have collected the value that is entered by user. Now if you check here, the square root of that value will be collected under a double variable, and that is okay. They, as per our definitions and return type, this is the double type variable, right? So I am not getting any error or any compilations type of things, error type of things, and everything is smooth here. Now if I try to collect the same thing, that is basically math of square root of that num variables value under a integer variable, let's say square root int, so you will get a compilations error because the return type of these are double. Now we have to convert this double to integer type, so there is our casting logic need to be applied. So how we can do that? So we can use this type of first bracket open and close, and under that we will use our int return type, right? So this is basically syntax of casting the double type into integer type. Now our syntax is okay. Now you can see here, if I put 25 as a value for this num variable, then the square root of it will be come as 5.0, and that will be collected here. Now if I try to collect the return value under an integer variable, then it should return me, instead of 5.0 it should be 5. Right now you can see here this 5.0 which is collected under this, and this 5 which is collected under this, that's mean a double variable and a integer type variable, both value are same, that's mean 5.0 and 5, that is equals, right? So we can create if conditions, and we can check that if these two are same based on the square root method, then we can say the value passed by user and that collected under this num variable will be a perfect square value. So in our next line we can create a if statement, and we can say if this double variable value is equal to this integer variable value, that's mean here for this 25 this is 5.0 and this is 5, so 5.0 and 5 this is same. So if this is same, so we can say this is a perfect square, and we can beautify this message like this. Num is basically the value entered by user, let's say 25. So 25 is a perfect square. Now let's say I put instead of 25 26 as a value, and that will be collected under this num variable, right? Now based on these conditions, this is nothing but 26 means 5.099, something like this. But if I try to collect the same value using this method under a integer variable, then it should give me instead of 5.099 it should be 5, because it's an integer type, right? Now you can see here my double value for 26, with the help of square root I am getting 5.099. But for this the same method, for the same method and same value, that is basically 26, when I try to convert it in integer, so it is collected as 5. So that's mean 5.099 is definitely not equal to 5, right? So here we can go for this else part, and we can say that if these two are not equal, then this is not a perfect squares, and we can create a print statement like this is not a perfect square. Okay, now if you save your program using Control S and try to run with the same value, let's say 25 and 26, let's check it is coming properly or not. So enter the number. So first enter 25, which is actually a perfect square. Now if you enter here, so you can see I am getting the message 25 is a perfect square. Now run it again for 26. Let's say enter the another number 26. So this should we go for this else part. So if I enter here, you can see that 26 is not a perfect square. So this way you can easily use a math class square root functions to find out it is a perfect square or not with this logic. So hope you can understand this logic and you can do it from your side. Then in our next class we will try to use another math functions to solve another examples.
I believe this video has helped you to understand about the topic. Thank you for watching. Please do subscribe, click on the bell notifications and select all so that you don't miss any video from this channel.